was gonna say Nate, but Nate been gone so long, I can't even say him no more. But shit, I'll even say Cube and Snoop. Snoop, he been out at too short. I'm gonna say Too Short. I ain't even gonna say Cube and Snoop. I'm gonna say Too Short and E40. I know I just named their whole group, but I'm gonna say like Too Short and E40, or really all them cats. If you listen to their music over the years, I feel like it matures, but it matures with their crowd. Mm-hmm. It's not like we trying to catch up with the young cats and sound like this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like with Snoop, when he was younger, he was doing this gangster shit, straight hardcore. And then he got to the point when he was in his 40s where he was doing the smoother, the rhythm and gangster. But you go, we out here, you go to Formosas or Clydes with them 40-year-olds, that's the type of shit that they own. So they want to chill, play their little pool.
Yeah, it's a natural evolution of their style. Not like
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, but it's still true to that. Too Short, I feel like Too Short never really switched up his style, but it works because it's like, if you want some short, go get you some short instead of like, I'm not going to call out no names because I don't want to speak negatively on no artists, but I feel like some artists, they every year they switch up to sound like something else, but then when they switch it up, it don't really work, or at least it don't work for me, because I'm like, damn, why is he rapping like that when he's supposed to be rapping like this up over here, or not even supposed to be rapping like this, but this is your bread and butter right here. So don't worry about what they doing, because that works for them, but it don't necessarily work for you. You know what I'm saying?
Losing that core crowd, and then the new crowd they get every year. You lose people. You might have some people to stick with you through maybe 2-3 changes, but after that, it's like, come on, man.
I feel like if you're a real fan of somebody, like, you might stick with them, but you're gonna stick with them for the shit that you like. You ain't gonna just be like, if they all over the place, it's gonna be hard to follow that. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, going back to a Snoop done put out reggae album, gospel album. Now he got the kid album. He's a grandfather. I'm a father. So shit, my kids, they like that shit. That Doggy Land, I forget what he called it, but it's some good. If you ain't played it for your kids yet,
we listen to it over here.
Yeah, it's some good shit, and I feel like his kid album is kind of along the lines of like Gracie's Corner a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But like with a Snoop twist, but it works because it's like it's still Snoop, but he just coming with this instead of trying to like. Oh, remember when MC Hammer tried to come out hard, and after that, I love Hammer, but after that, he kind of just, we love him, but we love him for that old shit when he was dancing Too Legit to Quit, Hammer Time. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like
that's what we want from you. And I mean, I guess that can seem kind of selfish from the fan standpoint. We like what we like from you, but maybe they want to change. But if you're naturally changing, okay, cool, go do you. But to be changing just to see this is what's popular, eventually you got to stop at some point. That just it's got to be exhausting.
Yes, as a listener, it's exhausting to me when motherfuckers change it up too much. But another thing, which kind of along the lines of this is like, I know right now more people is into singles than albums, which is cool. Like you got artists like OT the Genesis, he only puts out singles. Okay. But then I feel like a lot of people, when they put their projects together, the project doesn't really flow with each other. It's just kind of like, okay, we made 10 songs and we're going to just put that shit out.
Compilation style. Okay, more like compilation style versus.
Yeah, but it don't really flow together. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that that's just as important Like your songs need to have chemistry with each other because the same artist. Take a Pac for instance. My favorite 3 Pac albums in Me Against the World, All Eyes on Me, Machiavelli. All great albums. But I wouldn't the songs from Me Against the World I don't think would fit on the other 2 albums. And vice versa, vice versa. But they still work. It's still true to Pac and what he was going through at that time. And then the albums, I think if you listen to the albums in chronological order, the albums go together like, okay, this makes sense with this, but it's like all the songs have a certain vibe to them instead of like motherfuckers just throwing shit together. And I don't know, I think sometimes a lot of cats is getting into that, like just kind of just throwing shit together. I like when for instance, I haven't listened to the Drake in 21 yet, but I'm gonna bring up the Drake Loverboy album, which I like Drake. I'm a big Drake fan. I like Take Care. I like If You Reading This It's Too Late, and a couple others after that. But I feel like with the Loverboy album, like he had good songs on there, but the difference with that one versus those other ones I named, I felt like he just kind of like he made some good Drake songs, like they bangers, but I didn't feel like it was like them other albums was kind of like telling a story. I don't feel like it was telling a story. It's like, okay, I'm gonna hit you with one, then I'm gonna hit you with another one, I'm gonna hit you with another one. They still good shit. That's like I feel like it's just a bunch of singles kind of just grouped together instead of like one solid masterpiece album that is like from jump to finish, you know what I'm saying? This shit just ride from jump to finish instead of like, okay, I'm in the mood for this one today. Tomorrow I'm in the mood for this one. You know what I'm saying? But you know, no disrespect to Drake.
I'm not a big Drake fan. I kind of just know what singles or whatever my daughter makes me listen to. But I feel like albums should do one of a couple things, right? If it's a party album, then it's okay for the album to just be like this the whole time, right? Because it's a party album, or even like this is a slow cuts album, blah blah blah.
Right.
Or it should be if you're a artist that likes to do all kinds of stuff. I like the albums that take you up, bring you down, take you up, bring you down. Or they should build, right? Like I like when it's like, okay, this is mellow, this is cool, and then as the songs go on, it gets more, there's more of a build to it. If it's all over, like all of those things flow and all those things are cool. But if it's just all over the place, you don't know, like it's not like, okay, I'm feeling like this, so I'm going to pop on this album because it's not going to do that for you. Because none of these songs make sense together.
Right, and that's what I was saying. Because it's like but I guess a lot of people ain't got that attention span no more though, where they like listening to albums. But I think that they got to get to like I said, if you're an OT Genesis and that's what you do is just put out singles, you know what I'm saying? Cool, but if you putting out an album, man, you got to make that shit. You got to make that shit bang. You know what I'm saying? Together. Like I liked another artist that's good at that is like Kendrick. I'm gonna say Kendrick and YG. All of Kendrick's albums, Good Kid, Mad City, to Pimp a Butterfly, and then what was the newest one called again? I can't remember what it was called. I wasn't the biggest fan of the newest one, but it still went together though. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like because they went together, it's easier. Like I like to listen to music on road trips, like to listen to music when I'm working out, or you know what I'm saying, whatever. It flows, it tells a story, and then it gives you. I feel like it gives you a more intimate look at the artist instead of like, oh, this motherfucker just putting some shit down. It's like, oh no, they really are trying to tell. When I leave here, I feel like I got something from this artist. I learned something new about this artist. You know what I'm saying? versus just, oh yeah, this motherfucker got this song, that song, that song, and then we just gonna try to vibe with it. You know what I'm saying? But let me ask you another question though. I know I had mentioned the labels, but what's some of your favorite labels just over the years?
I mean, I feel like you just pull out a list of the West Coast labels. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
I am with a lot of my music. When it comes to rap, a lot of what I listen to is very West Coast. Some stuff from the South, you know what I'm saying? But it's like it's all music that kind of complements what West Coast music is like anyway. But I don't know. Coming up, like if we want to take a way back, you know, of course, like So Def and stuff like that. I liked record labels that seemed like they were really invested in putting out good music and good groups and developing them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that being visible to us. So like pretty much anybody were assuming that they were really out here together trying to really do something. They're on my list. I don't know a lot of underground or whatever labels from other places. So, but like pretty much anything on the West Coast and anybody messing with anybody who was kind of mainstream in the South in the 90s ish or whatever would be on my list.
Yeah, if my all time favorite label, this probably ain't no surprise to you, Death Row. Because I feel like they laid the foundation. I feel like the foundation that as much shit as everybody talks about them, I feel like since they came out, everybody has been trying to emulate that. Mm-hmm. From the chains to trying to prove how real they are to having a deep roster like that. So Death Row, in my opinion, is, and I'm going to say from the beginning up until I'm going to say like Machiavelli. You know what I'm saying? Or whenever Snoop left. You know what I'm saying? Then that was probably my favorite. But then you got like No Limit. Right. I liked how they got down. Their roster was deep. And then I feel like they was to New Orleans what Death Row was to LA. Because they was just deep with New Orleans artists. And then they ended up getting Snoop, which is Death Row, biggest artist from the biggest label, and then he solidified they shit. Of course, Def Jam. I feel like Def Jam just kind of represent just like the industry. You know what I'm saying? Because they got a lot in New York, but then they like pretty much is just commercial music. Mm-hmm. Like if you make music on this commercial level, you know what I'm saying, they'll fuck with you, and they got a broad type of shit. I'd even say I was more into Cash Money when it was like Cash Money, the Hot Boys, Juvie, Manny Fresh. Yeah. Then I was into like the artists that they got now. Like I like Drake and them, but I don't feel like when I hear Drake, then I hear Lil Wayne, Young Thug, Nicki Minaj. They don't sound like, if I didn't know, I wouldn't know that they was all part of the same company because they're all so different. But then you got, like you mentioned, underground. One of my favorite underground labels. Well, not No Limit. Cash Money used to be underground. Yeah. But like AWOL. A lot of people, if you're not from the West Coast, specifically Oregon, Washington, or Northern Cali, you might not feel the same. But I remember though how they used to. Everybody was on that shit. So Marvelous, Killer Tay, Louis Coleon, like that shit. In Portland, I feel like they got more love than our local artists. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna fill out a show more. People listening to that shit more. I'm even say 40 and Sick with it. they had a nice label, but I think they shit was tight because like E40 and Be Legit and them, they was really like all family. You know what I'm saying? So they vibe. That's like me and you and the Cuddies going doing something that's like you ain't even got to try because it's like we got an inside joke that everybody else ain't on. But motherfuckers see the right. You feel me? I'm trying to think who else.
I have a question though. Yeah. So with Death Row being what Death Row was and still is to the West Coast, it being what they were to the South. On the East Coast, that big label would be Bad Boy. But do you feel like you put them in that same type of category though? I mean, obviously, it's being the big East Coast label, yeah. But do you feel like?
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like Bad Boy. Yeah, I feel like they was not as far as like the gangster image, but like in interviews, Puffy was trying to emulate Death Row, and before Pac before Pac and Big was beefing, I forgot what song it was. I think it was Big Papa. But he wanted Biggie to make a song similar to Tupac's I Get Around. I Get Around wasn't a Death Row project. But they whole thing of like, okay, we deep and we got the chains, but that was New York though, instead of LA. But Bad Boy though, they definitely was one of them labels. And I feel like they vibed together. Like when they had like Mace, I really like that era. Total. What was the group that was named after the damn club? I cannot think. Yeah, I can't think of their names, man. They was named after the club in Atlanta. Somebody is watching this right now on YouTube saying the damn name, and I can't think of the damn name. But I feel like though Bad Boy had a deep ass roster, and then I think, and then over the years, I feel like after Big, 112. Okay. Yep. Club 112. Because they was from Atlanta. I wasn't old enough to go in, but when I moved to Atlanta, though, it was like the last couple years of 112. So me and my partners, like, we used to ride by there just because we couldn't get in, but we'd ride by there in parking lot. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I feel like, though, it was deep, though. Bad Boy had cuts. Like I said, I really liked Mace. Of course, Biggie, but I really liked Mace. And his, like that Harlem World album, that shit was hard. And then I felt like after like the Biggie Mace era, then Puffy just kind of kept like, he usually kept like one artist that was like one. He had Loon. He had who did he have after Loon? Now he got his son. His son makes some cool little songs. You feel me? But Puff always keep one artist out there on the forefront making radio hits. And I feel like Bad Boy is good for that. Like they gonna come with them radio hits. Like they I feel like they took game from Def Jam and Death Row. And they like, okay, we gonna do the radio commercial shit like Def Jam, but then we gonna try to be flashy, or not flashy, but have like that cool persona like Death Row, you know what I'm saying? Like we deep, you know. I know my East Coast people are gonna be mad because I didn't say Rockefeller. I wasn't really a big Rockefeller fan though. But they definitely notable though for the accomplishments that they made. My favorite from they shit was Beanie Siegel, but I never really got into. I think the only Jay-Z album I really liked was like The Dynasty, but I never really was into Jay-Z. Was never really into like Memphis Bleak.
I'm not a huge like I won't turn him off or nothing like that. If it comes on, I'll listen to it, but I'm not gonna like go buy it or he dropped a new album, so here I go run it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Nah, it's crazy because when I was in high school, I used to debate with people about this all the time because everybody was on Jay-Z. except me. People like, did you not hear that? I'm like, yeah, I heard it. It just shit just wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same way. A couple weeks ago, me and this other cat, we had a debate about Young Thug. And I was saying the same thing. We listened to a song, and I'm like, bruh, like, I ain't got nothing against the man. I hope he beat his case and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that he's successful. But that music, for whatever reason, it just don't appeal to me. I mean, saying that, I mean, he knows something I don't, because his music career is blowing my music career out the water. So that's the fact of the situation. But as a listener, it just don't appeal to me. And I think, and that's part of the reason why I be liking to have these discussions, because I think sometimes people will say something just to kind of fit in with the narrative that's going around, instead of saying like they true opinion on something. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't for everybody, and I think some shit is just like, it's just like once a motherfucker reach a certain status or a certain popularity, everybody just kind of go with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like no matter what shoes Jordan put out, everybody gonna get them. No matter how ugly them Yeezys is, motherfuckers is still gonna get it and act like it's the hardest shit ever. And you got motherfuckers like me that's like, is we looking at the same shit? Is we listen to the same shit? You know, but shit, everything just don't appeal. You know what I'm saying? But like, even on the West Coast, like, no disrespect to Draco the Ruler, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? But like, in my opinion, the tightest thing about the Stink Team was Rimble. And like I said, this ain't no disrespect to them cats, because I like they like personas, and like I watch their interviews and I like they get down and shit, but the music just it appealed to somebody. I'm just saying it just didn't appeal to me, like the whole whisper rap and all that. It just wasn't for me. But then at the same time though, like I like Silk the Shocker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and a lot of people don't. I like Silk the Shocker. You feel me?
Catch it one time.